when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. It is Thursday, 7th March 2024, and we here are still celebrating International Women's Day all week on the Tobago Updates Television. And we're so happy that you can join us this morning as we bring information to you and as we speak to powerful women in different industries across the scope. I am Adana Kumbi, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, it is Thursday, 7th March. It seems as if the year is running away. Just the other day, we were saying Happy New Year to you, and look at where we are. Almost at the end of the first quarter of our year, and we are having, we are making beautiful memories, and we are having important conversations. So many things have happened over the first quarter that we have had discussions about on this show, and we're so happy that you continue to choose us. We're so happy that you are the reason that made us number one in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, we thank you so very much. All right, viewers, as I say thank you, I want to head on over right now to the news in 90 seconds with Biana.
Thank you, Adana. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Thursday, March 7, 2024. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, highlighted the significance of the German market for Tobago during her participation in the ITB Berlin Trade Show. Emphasizing Germany as a crucial source market, Boris noted the enduring appeal of Tobago's natural attraction to German travelers. The ITB Berlin Trade Show serves as a pivotal platform for the travelers and tourism industry. The Tobago delegation, including representatives from the THA, TTAL, and hoteliers, engaged with Condor Airlines to strengthen ties and enhance Tobago's international presence. Up next, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has outlined the government's ongoing efforts to trace the owners of the Gulfstream vessel involved in the recent oil spill. He stated the government is utilizing all official channels, including the Maritime Division and foreign and regional agencies, to verify ownership. While some documents have indicated potential connection, the government seeks credible information to identify the perpetrators for potential legal action. Despite the ongoing investigation, opposition MP Rudilal Mulilal has criticized the government's lack of knowledge about the vessel's owner a month after the spill. And finally, meanwhile, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean CAF has approved a US $250,000 donation for Trinidad and Tobago to aid in mitigating the impacts of the oil spill. CAF expressed solidarity with Trinidad and Tobago, offering both technical and financial assistance to address the crisis. Executive President Sergio Diaz-Grandos conveyed the donation commitment in the letter to the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. In response, Minister Colin Imbert expressed deep appreciation for CAF's financial and moral support. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you so much, Biana, for bringing us that news there in 90 seconds. And I'm just sitting here and I'm listening to the details of that news, and I'm thinking a whole month after, and we're still chasing after information as it relates to that vessel. Why is there no information? Who is holding this information? Where do we have to go to find out the owner of this vessel? How do we find its origin and its owner? I feel as if we're chasing after this information and nothing is happening. What is your take on that?
Well, more or less, the government is trying their best, I believe, but I hope rather sooner than later information forthcomes to the general public.
Yeah, because I feel as if we're just chasing. And I'm telling you, I'm sure there's things that we've sought after that we found at the snap of a finger. So what is happening here? Who is keeping this a secret? Who is hoarding the information? We need to find out. Right, Biana, it's International Women's Day week. All week here on Tobago Updates Television. And we know there's so many activities happening in our space, even here in Tobago. And we know a debate is taking place tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
And I also know, and I can share with our viewers, that somebody or some persons who are part of our staff are participating in this debate. Bianca, do you know anyone who is participating in this debate?
Yes, Adana. I will be participating in the debate. I will be representing the Secretary of Settlements, Public Utilities and Rural Development. It's a bit, what to say? Putting the points together was not really a task, but the experience is a great one for me.
Awesome, and I'm happy you're able to have that experience, and I will be looking forward. I'll be there front and center, and I'm sure the entire staff of Tobago Updates Television would be front and center there, cheering you on and giving you that measure of support.
Yes.
So we wish you all the very best with that one.
Thank you very much.
All right, viewers, again, I want to say thank you so much for choosing us. Thank you so much. I want to say good morning to a few of you who are on the live. Early this morning, we always have Miss Pearl Murray Beard. We want to say good morning to you, Julia Brown. Good morning to you, JSL Boris Vincent. Good morning to you, Lisel James, who's always there viewing us. Good morning to all of our viewers far and wide, Trinidad, Tobago, the region, the Caribbean region, and internationally, the United States, Canada, Africa, Australia, wherever you are on this planet viewing us. We thank you so much for always choosing us as your choice for a morning show to bring information to you in your homes, wherever you are on your way to work. We say thank you so much. We're always so happy to have you. My friend there, Robert McKenzie, viewing on our YouTube channel, viewers on Amplia 102, we say thank you and good morning. And to all our women, our mothers, our aunties, our cousins, our sisters, our friends, I want to say happy International Women's Day to you. Every day of this week, we're going to be saying that to you, and we're going to be talking to some powerful women in different industries across the space here in Tobago to get their experiences and their, just their point of view on the theme for this year and what we look forward to as women and some of the challenges we face to get to where we are. So again, I want to say thank you so much. All right, we're going to go on to our birthday shout-outs. And on screen and celebrating a birthday this morning is my classmate, yes, Jeffrey Delpech. Good morning and happy birthday to you. I want to wish you a very happy birthday to you. A sportsman there, always very active and always finding something productive to do. I want to say happy birthday to you. God's blessings upon your life as you celebrate this birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right, and I'm talking about these powerful women that we have in conversations with. So let me just share a little bit on who we are going to be speaking with this morning. There are a little bit about their backgrounds and the topic. We're speaking with Miss Cindy Ramnarayan, and she's the principal. Yes, she is the principal of Bishop's High School right here in Tobago. And we're going to have conversations about International Women's Day and women in education. We also speak with Lauren Peters, Managing Director of Nuance Solar. Of course, again, talking about women in the solar energy system for International Women's Day, and of course a seminar that is upcoming. We're going to have conversations on that, and then we round the conversations with Esther Judith Ali, the Director of Palmstar Promotions. We're talking about the 3rd annual Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge. So that's what our conversations are going to look like here in studio this morning. So we ask that you continue to stay with us as we bring these conversations. And of course, we have to go for a short break before we start. And while we go to a break, what do we do? Of course, we invite you to share the live. We'll be right back.
Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me. And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon don't sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of a canal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I'm running down again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home. 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 We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in we DNA.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kambi, and we begin conversation in studio this morning with our first guest, and her name is Esther Judith Ali, and she is the director of Palm Star Promotions. And of course, we're speaking about the 3rd annual National Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge. Good morning and welcome, 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 welcome to you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, my Tobago family.
And I have to say welcome back, because it's not your first time on our set, and we've had conversations with you about this challenge. So how has it been over the past 2 years and leading up to the 3rd?
It has been growing exceptionally well, and I'm proud to say last year National Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge winner came from Signal Hill.
That's right, Signal Hill Government Primary, yes.
Yeah. Gian Thomas impressed everyone. As I had promised students in the competition last year, I would take the top 3 students and bring them to Trinidad, and so I did. It was really a serious battle, and Tobago outshined Trinidad and is at the top of the level. So this time I'm back in Tobago. We are at Lowlands Mall on the 13th of April. We have over 85 students registered already. And we in the standard 3, 4, and 5 categories, as it is. So ages 9 to 12, and as it is as well, competition is tough and more strong with the Tobago students. So I am looking for it. I'm looking forward to it. And auditions for us is auditionals, preliminaries, and semis the same day at Lowlands Mall on the 13th of April.
And what I look forward to in this challenge is that it actually, the word challenge, it challenges our students, our parents, and even the teachers, because they have to lend that measure of support to our children as they prepare for this. And I love to see the competition among them as they really try, they put their best foot forward. So I really applaud what you are doing there.
Thank you.
And I can feel the passion and the excitement and the pride, even as you speak about this challenge. And again, I want to say congratulations to Signal Hill Government Primary for winning, and we, of course, we're going to send somebody else this year again. We have 85, as you said,
yes.
85 students
And
registered.
Registration closes off on Sunday. All right. So you still have a few days left. So please go ahead, go to the Palm Star promotion page and register. Looking forward to every young child between the age of 9 to 12 going to primary school. Even though if you're home school, and this is a question that was put to me by a lot of parents in Tobago, is it that they can bring forward their children even though they're homeschooled? And yes, you can.
Yes, once you fall into that category standard 3 to 5 and between the ages of 9 to 12, you are eligible to participate in this event.
Yes, and we have a little surprise for folks as well. if it is that your little one is between the age of 8 to 9 and they feel brave enough and you want to give them an opportunity to come and participate in the competition, we welcome them. Because we had parents who just popped by Lowlands Mall last year and said, so can we register?
Wow.
My child is 8 or my child is 7 going on 8, but he can speak well and he can spell well. I'm open.
Wow.
Please.
So we're going to have a special category for those
little ones.
children.
Yes.
And this is encouraging our children, of course, want to overcome fear and to be brave and courageous and to take opportunities, of course, and, to embrace challenges.
Exactly.
So I really, really am happy about this. I'd love to see how this rolls out. This happens on the 13th of April.
The Lowlands Mall. Registration is from 7 a.m. And I must applaud the people of Tobago. When I told them registration was at 7, when I reached there 10 after 6, there were people already waiting to be registered.
Yes, because you see, the thing with us, we like to support our own, we support our children, and we really push them. And I like that, actually, that speaks to community for me. It speaks to the fact that we are supportive and we are a community and we really want to get this done. So congratulations to the Tobago participants, the parents, the children, as I said, the teachers. Thank you guys so much for pushing and for participating and partnering with this challenge and for making it a success here in Tobago.
Yes, and I also have to say thank you to Magdalena being our first sponsor from Tobago, who believed in the children and has decided to come on board as a gold sponsor with us. And we thank them for it. And we have all our other wonderful sponsors from Trinidad who supports us with every event that we have, especially the spelling and vocabulary. In Tobago, we have people like Charon's Bookstores who stay with us. Mm-hmm. We have Caribbean Airlines. We have Creamery. We have Natco. We have quite a number of companies that stay with us. Even Universal Foods has come on board, and they were there for maths competition. And the children had a wonderful time with their photo op opportunity with the mascots.
I'm sure, yes.
Yes, they had a lot of fun. And we even have VNS Pharmaceutical. First time with us now is Presidential Insurance, and we have Grand Paper Products as well as one of our sponsors who are into tissues and so paper towels, etc. VNS Pharmaceuticals into hand sanitizers, etc. But we really appreciate those who have stayed with us from beginning to now, which is Caribbean Airlines, Charon's Bookstore, Royal Castle is back with us again. Right. And they show appreciation to the children of Tobago and Trinidad who get into the grand final by providing prizes for them. And NATCO does the same.
Awesome. And I'm so happy that we have the corporate society on board as partners. Yes. Because the investment in the children's lives, the investment in their education and encouraging them, to strive for excellence, to strive for something that is bigger than themselves.
Well, this is why we want more support from the corporate community. Please, folks, you have a business and you want to give us some assistance, please contact me on 471-2604. And I will ensure that you get your mileage with your investment, but you're also giving back to your community and also giving back to the children in the community, which is most important. And they are our future leaders. And this is Palmstar's philosophy, to educate the future leaders of our nation.
That's right, that's right.
And we keep going stronger and stronger. And with the support that we get in Trinidad, we are grateful. And now with Magdalena's support, come on, business people in Tobago, help us give more to your children, because it's our nation and it's not one person. And we don't want to piggyback off everybody every time. We want to give you your identity into what you are doing for the children, because it's not only me. I have 12 members of staff I'm bringing to Tobago. I have Charon's Bookstore coming into Lowlands. I have Natco coming into Lowlands. I have Creamery coming into Lowlands. VNS Pharmaceuticals. I have a lot of companies that are going to come in and showcase their product, promote their product, to the benefit of the parents and the children.
And to show that measure of support and investment into our future, as you rightfully said. And when we invest in our younger people, especially from this age, this impressionable age, and they see that they are getting that measure of support, of course they'd want to do better. And it also, if I could put in my opinion here, it also lends to stronger communities. It also reduces the risk of crime and all these other idle, habits that people get into. It kind of helps them to find some measure of purpose and belonging.
Exactly, and it motivates them, because winning a trophy is one thing, but winning a trophy with a hamper, a medal, a certificate,
and not even that, just knowing that somebody cares enough to make that investment in them gives them that drive to continue going.
I saw that with Delaford Anglican, because the principal contacted me and she said, Auntie Esther, you wouldn't believe, my students are anxious to take part. They want to beat everybody and win the competition. I am very happy for that. We have schools from Speyside, we have schools from Bonaccord, we have Wim Anglican, we have Signal Hill, Delaford Anglican.
Of course, Signal Hill has to be in there. Of
course,
yes,
my dear.
Of course.
It's a serious battle, and I told people in Trinidad, and I will say it here, it is a battle and a challenge for Tobago to retain their title as National Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge holders.
Right.
So we look forward to it.
That's right. So we want to encourage everyone. There's still time to register. Registration closes this Sunday.
Yeah.
So if you have a child between the ages of 9 and 12, and of course that special category, 8 and 9, or possibly even 7, I'm throwing that in there.
Yeah.
You can contact the Palm Star Pay. You can contact them.
Contact me on 471-2604. You could WhatsApp me if you don't want to call directly. You just WhatsApp me, and we would be there to assist you. And as well as, I know folks are seeing the Kutisi Kutala up there, which is the local dictionary being Trinbagonian. And a lot of people are worried. So, Auntie Esther, the words are going to come from Trinidad dialect and not Tobago dialect. We have words that are designed especially for the students of Tobago.
Awesome.
All right. So please do not feel intimidated. The dictionary is on sale, and receive 5% off of it at any Charon's bookstores in Trincity, San Juan, Tunapuna, and Diego Martin. The intention is to bring awareness to children. Where's Moruga? Where's Tortuga?
Right.
Spell Tortuga. Tell me where Moruga is. Describe a cascadoo for me. Describe a flying fish for me. Things like this, children need to know about their local.
That's right. That's right. So it's a sort of an educational kind of drive as well, not just learning to spell words, but also to be able to identify what they are spelling and have some measure of history there about these places.
Not cutting you here, darling. It is 3 words in the preliminary audition semis. A word to spell. There are 3 different words given to a child. A word to spell, a word to give me the meaning of, and a word to put in the proper context of a sentence.
Awesome.
Then in the grand final is when we throw in the local word.
Right.
And it's wonderful to see. I was surprised at how much words that Tobagonians know about Trinidad, but there are still children who are like, Auntie Esther, I never hear that in my life.
This is the opportunity for them to learn. So we want to encourage our school-age children within that category, teachers, parents, encourage your children to participate in this event taking place there on the 13th of April at the Lowlands Mall. Thank you so much, Auntie Esther, for coming on and giving us that information and that excitement for the 3rd annual National Spelling and Vocabulary Challenge taking place there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go for a short break before we continue conversations in studio with our guests. And of course, before we go, Auntie Esther, are you going to join me as we ask them to share the live, share the live, share the live.
welcome. Come have a seat. Oh, this is so stylish and I love the fabric. Darlings, you must tell us where you got your new furnishings.
We got them locally at Standard. They've got new chic European furniture, crafted from high quality material.
Oh, Standard?
No, it's Standard, their brand new Hive collection.
Experience luxurious European furniture at a price you will love. The Hive Collection, now exclusively available at Standard.
Yo everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Builders General Hardware, located right here in Tobago, Local Road, Tobago. That's correct, right here in Tobago. And we are offering you guys the best prices on all hardware material. And if you would like to get your free quotation done, all you have to do is WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will give you guys the best prices on all hardware material. That is a guarantee as we are matching or beating any quotations.
At JK Tech, we bring technology to your doorstep. From cutting-edge laptops to reliable printers, we've got it all. Nationwide delivery and a new website for easy online ordering. JK Tech is your one-stop shop for your electronics and computer needs. Carrying top brands such as Acer, Samsung, HP, and much more. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at JKTechTT or visit jktechtt.com. Quality tech is just a click away. JK Tech. Evaluate your shopping experience, your tech, your way. Call or WhatsApp 383-2651. Shop smart, shop JK Tech.
Your destiny. The best way to predict it is to create it. Do you see yourself exploring exotic destinations or spending quality time with family? However you see yourself, create your own retirement destiny with Tata Life's Destiny Personal Savings Booster. Choose from one of 3 investment options with guaranteed minimum investment returns to secure a monthly retirement income for life, with the option to choose your retirement age. So what's your retirement destiny? Call 62-TATIL or visit tatil.co.tt to learn more today. Conditions apply. Tatil Life, a member of the Ansa Makal Group.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Good Morning Tobago. And you know, Trinidad and Tobago has one of the oldest hydrocarbon provinces. And in 2020, we signed Project Lara, which is our first industrial scale solar farm project. And that is expected to generate for us 112 megawatts for our energy grid. And this is in support of one of our goals of the Paris Agreement, which will see us have a 15% reduction in cumulative greenhouse gas emissions by 2020. And here with us today to chat about what they're also doing to support that, and Women in Solar is the Managing Director of Nuance Solar, Laureen Peters. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Tobago.
Yes, listen, it's all women today. We're celebrating the run-up to International Women's Day 2024. You know, it's a special time for us women because this is a time where we want to focus on any of the things that we feel, you know, we haven't quite gotten equality and equity in, right? And you want to talk to us about the seminar you all will be having in support of women in solar and going green.
Correct.
Tell us about that and the work you're doing in Nuance Solar.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Nuance Solar has been incorporated for the last 5 years, and we focus on green energy, energy efficiency, and of course, promoting women in solar. We do everything from residential to commercial, powering you off the grid. So to highlight International Women's Day, we're focusing on inclusion of women in solar, educating them on how they can use it at home, how they can benefit from solar, and how they can save going into renewable energy.
You know, this is such a fantastic topic to be talking about today. And I'll tell you why, audience. It is because we're looking at the topic for UN International Women's Day, which is Invest in Women, right? Accelerate progress. And you have to be able to understand the link between investing in women and saving money, right?
Investing in the education about energy efficiency and, of course, being empowered so that you can have financial, you know, you can do anything that you want when it is that you have the ability and you have the education. And this is what we focus on with Nuance Solar, letting everyone know that how it can benefit them.
I love that. And I know that, you know, as a woman, we love to save money. And the solar energy helps us reduce our energy demand on the grid.
Correct.
Because we are able to generate our own electricity through solar in our homes. How does that work exactly? I've never been able to really understand. Tell us about that, please.
Well, I'm glad that you asked that question, Joel, because there are many folks in Trinidad and Tobago still wondering how they can access it and how it can work for them. So it's simple. We have the sun every time we wake up in the morning. There's a beautiful sun reminder that, okay, we have natural resources, renewable energy every single day. The sun goes through the solar panels, it stores in the battery, and then through an inverter, it can power up all your appliances. So the best thing about it is that you don't even need to have demand from the grid or TN-Tech power. You can be totally off grid and generate electricity for all your appliances that you need. But the focus is energy efficiency, consuming less to conserve for the future. And that is where the team for our seminar come, powering your future with solar energy.
Yes. You know, this is, I've lived in Barbados for about 10 years. And Barbados, listen, they blanket the whole of Barbados with solar power, right? You're flying over Barbados, it's solar panels, solar panels everywhere.
Yes, and that is what we want to see.
Yeah, I can't wait for Trinidad and Tobago to get like that.
Correct.
And I want to tell you all, there is a benefit to doing solar panels. Apart from, you know, reducing your energy bill, it's tax deductible.
Yes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's tax deductible. That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard. So what it is exactly is that once you install these solar panels, you can claim for it on your individual income tax.
So, yes. So the government had given us some beautiful tax incentives. It comes when you purchase and install a solar water heater. You get a tax break up to $10,000, right? And once it is that you have lower your electricity bill by incorporating solar and you use up to $300, you get a 25% tax rebate on your electricity bill. So those are some, you know, motivations and benefits that the government have invented for us or created for the future to reach their energy consumption goals.
Yes. You know, ladies out there, girls and boys, wherever you may be listening, just remember you need to have solar in your house. It's one of those things, I can't say it enough. It's really going to make a difference on your bill. Tell us about what you see you know, as we head into International Women's Day, what you see perhaps as a push that needs to happen, are there enough women dealing with solar energy, dealing with the engineering side of it, putting it together, you know, coming and putting it on your house? Is there a need for a push for women to come into that industry and to stay there?
Well, we have seen from the past few years that there are so many now single parent home, woman-led homes, and they are taking the initiatives to lower their electrical bill or even to go off grid. So they are requesting to learn more about it, and that's where Nuance Solar comes in. And we have the Women in Solar program, where we have trained over 19 women in Jamaica about solar energy and how they can incorporate it at work and even starting at home. So what we do, we train the women, and now they can install stuff at home or even work with us. So that is some of the initiatives that we have started.
And what about in Trinidad? Are you doing this program here as well?
So we're doing it in Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to start after the seminar, the seminar launch on March 27th. And we teach everyone about the benefits of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Yes, we would have the next phase for Trinidad and Tobago and the Women in Solar.
So let us say, you know, unfortunately, I don't get to come on Wednesday, the 27th of March, to this powering, you know, seminar that you all have. How can I sign up for this Women in Solar program?
So we're all on the social media, and we are in collaboration with Tobago Downtown Electrical. So yes, there will be forms there in Scarborough. They have a location in Scarborough and in Spring Gardens. It will be at the plaza. So then you can come and sign up. And then when we take from there, and, you know, we will have our program running, one in Trinidad and one in Tobago, starting with 20 in Trinidad, and then we would have a selection in Tobago.
So what do you teach people in Women in Solar? You know, I'm one of them fast people. I want to know what I come in to do.
All right.
Tell me about that.
So it starts off with the basics of understanding electricity. I mean, I have been in the industry for the last 15, 20 years of electrical engineering.
Well, you start really young,
And once we teach them about the basics about electricity, how it works, solar power is really DC power, so it's an alternative source. So then we start teaching them about how the solar panels work, how they operate, battery systems, and how to install it. So those who are shy for not climbing up on the rooftops, you're going to have to get off that shyness. And
well, not me. I'm a climber.
So it's an adventure. It's an adventure.
I'm a climber. I climb mango trees, pomsy day tree. I fix the antenna.
Well, you're ready. You're ready.
Yes, man, I'm ready. Tell us what the lifespan is on solar, because, you know, persons want to know that their investment is going to make sense.
Yes.
You know?
So technology have changed from back then to now. So they are hybrid systems and could last you 15 to 20 years. It's all about you conserving and how you use it, right? So you have the warranty with our systems, 10 years, but they can last you 15 to 20 years.
Wow, that's
so the
a long
lifespan
time.
is, you get in your return on your investment.
So, you know, just to give it perspective, if you were to have a child, when you put it in, they'd be out of high school.
Yes,
right
correct.
Before the warranty was up. Okay, just putting it out there. You know, solar is something that I've always been interested in. And especially since it allows us to power so many devices and so many appliances in our home. But tell me, what kind of system would I need? And how do I know what I need from y'all?
Okay, so we do something called an energy audit. Every home is different. You know, I have a lot of people calling and asking for 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom homes, or even to power up air-conditioned units, right? Because that is the massive draw. But because we have a little limitations here in Trinidad and Tobago, where we can't feed back to the grid, so we have to use the battery. The batteries are a little, you know, at a higher cost. So what we do is that once we install the systems, they're able to resize it based on the appliances that you're going to use. So you can have half of your house on the solar and half on the grid.
Okay.
So what we do is the design for the system. We come do a site visit. We say, okay, you can go solar, install it on your rooftop or even ground mounted or even as a carport.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we able to give you an estimate from there.
I like that. I like what you just said about having it ground mounted.
Yes.
Because some people, if you perhaps have a house, in terms of many families living in one space, you may not be able to use the roof.
And even so, it have insurances on some of the rooftops.
Right, so you're not able to do that on the roof.
So you can't put it on the ground.
Okay. And how does that affect, that collection of the solar, of that UV ray? Does it penetrate?
So it does. It once you have light, and we do our testing with our instruments where we can get full lighting, no shaded. Fortunately, if you have trees, we can't put it where it have the trees, so that's why we prefer to put it on the rooftop. But if you have like 5-10 acres of land, you can have it ground mounted.
Okay. Listen, this is so interesting to me because we live in an island, right? As a matter of fact, we live in a region. This is the entire Caribbean.
Yes.
We have 24 hours of hot sun.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
Blazing hot sun, right? And that we don't utilize this gift enough, right? We should have had solar from since Jesus was a baby in the manger.
Gone are the days of non-renewable energy, no more hydrocarbons, renewable energy moving forward.
Tell us, if you can, a little bit about the Paris Agreement and that 15% reduction. Is that something that companies, businesses are getting on board with in terms of trying to help Trinidad and Tobago get to that 15% reduction in emissions by 2030?
Yes, a lot of companies are switching to green energy practices. You can see from NGC, they're more incorporating CNG. You're seeing businesses installing solar systems, or even, just cutting down on your bill using the solar air condition units, you see a lot of guest homes using solar water heaters, so that, their bills can go down and even less demand from the grid. So we are seeing the transition more from businesses and individuals moving to solar.
I think this is a fantastic initiative that you all are doing, making sure that Tobago is blanketed in solar panels, right? We have so many guest houses in Tobago, and it will really reduce the bill, not just for the tourism industry, but for every business.
Everyone,
right?
even individuals in rural areas. Accessing power can be a limitation. So the solar energy is the perfect solution.
You hit the nail on the head, Miss Managing Director, because being in a rural area, sometimes you're not able to access public utilities as much as you need.
And we have all the natural resources to use.
Tobago, we're rounding up here, but I'm just letting you know, if you're in a rural area, you have a business, you have a home, listen, and you need to reduce your solar energy bill, please give Nuance Solar, our managing director, Miss Lauren Peters. Give her a call and find out what your home needs, what kind of system would suit your home, so that you can help with this Paris Agreement and our expectation to have a 15% reduction in cumulative greenhouse gases by 2030. And thank you for being with us today.
Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, butt, breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Scrub Ties Body Contouring.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Torbay Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates Television. I am Adana Kumbi and we're at 7:46 a.m. Yes, and you know, if you're making your way to work for 8 a.m., you have 14 minutes to get there and to drop the children off to school. Remember to be safe on the nation's roads as you get to and from where you are going. All right, we continue conversations this morning with our guests as we continue celebrating International Women's Day. And we're speaking with Miss Cindy Ramnarine, and she's the principal of Bishop's High School, Tobago, and we're talking about women in education. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Combi, and good morning, Tobago. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for gracing us with your presence this morning as we talk about International Women's Day. We know the theme for this year is inclusion. As we talk about investing in women, and we want to talk about the different industries. But this morning we're focusing on education, women in education, women who have excelled in education, and also, of course, their climb to get to where they are in achieving a certain level of education. And as the principal of an educational institution, of course, we want to get your perspective in terms of what has it been like for you, your journey to get to where you are, and also your interaction with other women as they try to achieve their educational and academic goals.
Well, for me, it has been a long journey, honestly. I started in education in 1993. I was first appointed at quite at the bottom of Trinidad at Moruga Secondary. It was then called Moruga Composite School. And 3 years later, I came to the Tobago and entered Bishop's High School. So I unfortunately did not attend my own school that I am principal at, a school that I have grown to love because I have been at my school since 1996 and grew through the system. It was where I was, I believe, formed and shaped into who I am today. My journey, I have had the fortunate experience of interacting and being led by very strong leaders, both male and female. And I have had the opportunity to interact and be led by people like Mrs. Sosa, and Mr. Sosa. I've had Mr. Sebro, God rest his soul. I've had Miss Agnes Murray, Belinda Dillon, persons of that ilk who helped form and shape me, Mrs. Claudette Allard. And with these influences, strong influences on my life, I have formed my own philosophy of education, built and grown in my love for children. I started off really not wanting to be a teacher. I come from a home where my mother was a teacher and became an acting principal when she ended her career. My aunt who raised me, she also was a principal. And at that point, with them raising me, I decided, teaching is not for me at all. And I did run from teaching. I was called at least twice before by the ministry to come into education. And I said no. And even my mother was, what are you doing? You know, you don't say no because they will never call you back. And lo and behold, they kept calling. So I eventually did accept, and I never turned back. I remember saying, all right, I'll stay for a couple of years. And it didn't end. I have grown to love children so much. And the joy is really in working with the students and seeing them grow, seeing them blossom, seeing them grow up. I will now say grandchildren at Bishop's High School because it's the children that I taught. Their children are now, at school. I don't know if I'll be able to stay in the service to see great grand, but
it's quite possible.
Yeah, and it's really a joy when we see our students go out and excel, go out and find themselves. And the one thing I've learned is you never, never give up on students. Never. You go down with them to the end. And sometimes the not giving up doesn't mean always mollycoddling and that kind of thing. Sometimes it is even painful to yourself, even as a teacher, as a principal. Sometimes you have to make very painful decisions, knowing that the lesson is what is most important, and the long-term vision for the children is what you always have to keep in sight. Not just
the... I can say to this, sorry to cut you off, but what I can say to this also, it also helps because you come from that background and because you've had that experience. And this is something, as we're talking about investing in children and being the one to, to steer them and to stick with them, something we always talk about on this program is investing in our young people. And as you rightfully said, it's not just about the mollycoddling and making them feel as if you're always supporting their decisions, because sometimes they make bad decisions. Even we make bad decisions. And we need that person to be there, to correct us, and to redirect the way we would think and we will decide and make decisions, and and so this is really, really good. A real educator, a good educator, a good mentor is someone who actually does that, who sees the wrong and tries to channel the energies of the child into the right direction. So I want to say thank you so much to you for sticking in and for accepting the call to be an educator and for climbing through the ranks of where you are right now and for inspiring so many young people and for also helping them to find purpose. Because what a young person really wants is just that one person to show some measure of support or to show some measure that they care and to direct them and to help them with the challenges that they face. In terms of education for a woman, from a woman perspective, how important do you think it is for a woman to be educated to the highest possible degree that she can attain, especially to find her space in the workplace or just in general to have that education behind her name?
I think it is a crucial part of our lives as women to invest in ourselves, because when we invest in ourselves, we are investing in building our nation. And as women, we become the mothers. We take care of our children. And we are the first mentors, as you say, of our children. They grow with us, and they traditionally grow closer with mothers, not always so. And I am not one who purports that it is only the women, that we all have our role, men and women, and very important roles both. And there are roles that neither can replace from the other. I do believe that. However, as women, we must take care of ourselves and take care of the future. As I just said, the first mentors, the first caretakers, the closest ones to our children most times. And while we educate ourselves so that we can demonstrate to our children what they themselves can achieve, I also believe, though, that we have that extra, and I don't want to use the word burden, but it is extra that we must give of ourselves and we are called to do. Because when we have our children, that part of investing in them while we invest in ourselves is to be present, to be mindful, to always be alert as to what is happening with them and giving that care to them. But in demonstrating care, we have to show how we care for ourselves so that it is modeled for them so that they can develop an excellent future as well. As we widen our experience, our knowledge, we help them to widen theirs as well. And they always grow to be bigger and greater than anything that we could have offered in our lives.
Absolutely well said, and totally agree to your perspective there, of course. Women educating themselves and creating a better them for the persons who depend on them. Well, us, I should say, because I too am a woman. And so it is very important, and I agree with you, because we give so much to everybody else, and so educating ourselves puts us in a better position to be able to give of ourselves in a more valuable way to those who are dependent on us in whatever area of our lives. Miss, I want to say thank you so much for joining us this morning and for bringing your perspective and also sharing a little bit of your experience and even encouraging women out there who are listening to this program, and also giving the flowers to those who brought you up in the system as an educator and who has helped to form you to be who you are today. So I want to say thank you so much for joining us and coming on here and sharing Happy International Women's Day to all our women viewers. And I want to say Happy International Women's Day to you and to all the women in education right now in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Miss Cindy Ramnarayan, and she is the principal of Bishop's High School, Tobago, talking about women in education. And before we go, of course, I too want to give some flowers to some female teachers who have influenced me on my journey as well. Some of them are no longer with us, but I just want to say Happy International Women's Day to them and their children. And just to give them their flowers right now, Cynthia Lyons, I'm going as far back as primary school. Yeah, she's passed now many years ago. Miss Coppin, that's where I started off, and I just want to say kudos to those women. Shirley Bob, she was a teacher also at my primary school. I'm going far back. Yes, I want to give them their flowers because they've made an impression on me, as well. I want to say Miss Erna Austin. Oh, thank you so much, Auntie Cheryl Duncan. Thank you so much, Auntie Kenneth, who has passed. Thank you so much, and Happy International Women's Day, even to my female lecturers at university, Bertha Chin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all the women who have played a role in my life. Some of my classmates, Christina Onodi, good morning and Happy International Women's Day. Cyan Thompson, if you are listening, Happy International Women's Day to all of you. I appreciate you all. You have contributed to who I am today. And last, and of course not least at all, my mother, Sharon Comby. Thank you so much for all that you do and for the example that you set as a strong woman. Thank you all. Happy International Women's Day to all our female viewers. Men, we love you too, and we thank you for the support you've been giving us. And we just want to say, continue to be there for us as we continue to be there for you, our families, in our schools, in our workplace, wherever we are. Happy International Women's Day to all. This is where we end the morning show on Tobago Updates Television, but we do not end our programming here. We continue on with Tobago Notes, and then we head on over to GMT with Candice Jackson. So we ask you to stay with us. And as you stay with us, we invite you to share the live, share the live, share the live.
The house is like 2 bedrooms, a toilet, the room, kitchen. The size is like 11 by 10, bathroom like normal concept. Have a living room, full dining room here. I say completion of this building, so it will be about 2 weeks then max. We're doing a cladding on the outside, the inside is a fire rating board, gypsum ceiling, right? And normal tiles and stuff on the ground.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly. So what was this green paper all about? Several persons, including representatives from governmental and non-governmental organizations, had their say regarding the national HIV and AIDS policy, focusing on areas such as prevention, treatment, care and support, as well as advocacy and human rights.
It is estimated that the total number of persons living with HIV in Trinidad and Tobago is just over 11,000. The NAC, in its efforts, is working towards reducing this figure, and it is at this time attempting to meet the United Nations targets of 95% of persons living with HIV knowing their status, 95% of persons knowing their status being on treatment, and 95% of persons on treatment being virally suppressed.
This year, 2023, marks 40 years since the first case of HIV was reported in North Twin Island Republic. Since then, we have made several strides in our response towards epidemic control. Our successes include the provision of free treatment and care to all, which has changed the face of the epidemic from a communicable disease with high mortality to one with low and declining mortality and reduced rates of transmission in various subpopulations.
Think about how much money we really have to spend on health-related issues and all of the other health-related issues that are competing. Think about the time that it will take to try to separate HIV-related stuff and do that separately versus possibly having a model that is more incorporated and inclusive. Think about the stigma and discrimination that still exists and how us trying to put a focus on HIV and AIDS may actually be adding to that stigma and that discrimination.
This consultation was spearheaded by the National AIDS Coordinating Committee. It's the third public stakeholder consultation on the national HIV and AIDS policy.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candice Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. Secretary of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, Tasha Boris, highlighted the significance of the German market for Tobago during her participation of the ITB Berlin trade show. Emphasizing Germany as a crucial source market, Boris noted the enduring appeal of Tobago's natural attractions to German travelers. The ITB Berlin trade show serves as a pivotal platform for the travel and tourism industry. The Tobago delegation, including representatives from THA, TTAL, and hoteliers, engaged with Condor Airlines to strengthen ties and enhance Tobago's international presence. Up next, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has outlined the government's ongoing efforts to trace the owners of the Gulfstream vessel involved in the recent oil spill. He stated the government is utilizing all official channels, including the Maritime Division and foreign and regional agencies, to verify ownership. While some of the documents have indicated potential connections, the government seeks credible information to identify the perpetrators for potential legal action. Despite the ongoing investigation, opposition MP Rudal Munilal has criticized the government's lack of knowledge about the vessel's owners a month after the spill. And finally, meanwhile, the Development Bank of Latin America and the Caribbean, CAF, has approved a U.S. $250,000 donation for Trinidad and Tobago to aid in mitigating the impacts of the oil spill. CAF expressed solidarity with Trinidad and Tobago, offering both technical and financial assistance to address the crisis. Executive President Sergio Diaz-Grandos conveyed the donation commitment in a letter to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. In response, Finance Minister Com Imbert expressed a deep appreciation for CAF's financial and moral support. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Of course, viewers, you know that this week, all week, because it's International Women's Day tomorrow, March 8th. So all week we have been focusing on women and just highlighting all the wonderful things that some of our women are doing with our space, both here on GMT and on the Tobago Updates morning show. So joining me this morning, starting us off with our women conversations this morning, is Ms. Lois Leslie, and she's a Director of Valuations and Projects of Ropam Estate Agency Limited. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning, Candice, and good morning to your viewers and your listeners. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start with just a little bit about you. Tell me about yourself, who you are.
Okay, so I'm Lois, a product of this Tobago space. And I have to say, I've been fortunate to be able to meander across a few disciplines.
Mm-hmm.
My professional life started as a teacher at Bishop's High School, and then I moved into the area of business management. I always had an interest, and I was always involved in property, in the outdoors. And so property valuations became another one of my areas of interest, which I pursued. And then project management. I was always fascinated with the notion of managing projects. And so I also qualified as a project manager. And along the way, we have such a beautiful space, and life is so diverse. So one of my other areas I delved in for a while was in the fashion area, in terms of ethnic fashions. And then I always have an intense passion for community and community building. So if culture is my bedrock. So because of that, my activities also span the area of culture and development. And touching young people was important, and even touching young people in very creative and unusual ways. So even through the organization that was the Tobago Mission Riders, the motorcycle club, worked with youths, and in essence, that's Lois.
Very, very diverse. But I mean, interesting that, very focused also on young people as well, and that sort of development. But this year for Women's Day, we're focusing on the theme of investing in women and that sort of thing, and accelerating the progress of women. How important is that? And tell me a bit about how do you see yourself in embodying that theme and, executing that mandate?
Okay. I love the theme. Investing in women, accelerating the progress. And it talks about two important variables here. The importance of investing resources, time, finance, systems to build. Mm-hmm. And it also speaks to acceleration, signifying that progress has already been made. However, the importance of the focus here now is accelerating that. And it's extremely important because women are the bedrock of societies. Traditionally, and in our culture, we know that as a fact. Mm-hmm. All right? And so, for us to build inclusive, sustainable societies, it's important to invest in our women. If we go back in our traditions, our grandparents, women occupied central roles in terms of the economics, the farming, the trafficking, mm-hmm. And trafficking in a positive with a positive connotation now, And so we know the strength of our women. We also know we have a history of abuse of women, in our society, and we can't stick our heads in the sand. The statistics show that 1 in 3 women in our space experiences some sort of abuse, whether it's financial, physical, sexual, psychological, emotional. Mm-hmm. And so, as we are nurturers, it's important for us to be nurtured. Women also have ambitions. We're very ambitious. We're very protective of what is ours. And as we are also very gifted and talented. So when you marry those things together, it's important to provide a space, a platform to ensure that is nurtured and it explodes, and it all happens to the benefit of our space and by extension our nation. And our women are even doing absolutely marvelous things globally.
And how does all of that fit into, your drive or your goals in the real estate industry and so on? And, how does women, or how do you use that to encourage women to develop themselves, especially financially, where that's concerned?
Okay. So I navigate the space, I prefer to say real property. Because oftentimes people hear real estate and they think in terms of, you buy a house or you buy a piece of land with a building on it. But it's more than that. When we talk about real property, we talk about land and all the things that are attached to the land. And land does not mean the ground surface. It also includes the resources under the sea and the resources of the air, right? So this is our heritage in this space, our real property. And therefore, developing that in a manner that is sustainable, developing that in a manner that basically ensures our progress and prosperity today, but safeguarding for our generations to come, to ensure that what we leave, we actually enhance. And so, my love in this arena, I must say, I inherited that from a father who was the Tobago government's valuations officer. So even while I was at school, during my summer vacations, I was what you would call his real side chick, because that's where I spent my vacations, learning the land, having an appreciation and a love for our natural resources, our heritage. And so for me, it was just a natural gravitation and a movement into that area. It has been a male-dominated space for the most part. My encouragement to young women, our women folk, is challenge. Don't be afraid. If that's where your passion is, build yourself and doors will open. the whole notion of gender inequality, it has been estimated that it will take a century for us to really realize that balance that we're all looking for, right? However, it's important to chip away, and when we chip away, we're really enhancing the whole, because it's not about emasculating our men so that we can raise our game and achieve our spaces of greater prominence, but it's about understanding the dynamics, you know? And so I think those are important things. You know, one of the things is that they talk about feminism and the feminist, the activist. But I want to say today that a feminist is not a terrorist. She's not. She's espousing all those values of feminism. We speak to nurturing, we speak to respect, we speak to empowering, we speak to connectivity, right? Because we as women, we are the product of male and female coming together.
Yes.
And therefore, as we raise ourselves and we seek our rightful place at the table, it's important for us to respect, encourage, and embrace each other in this space.
You know, when we talk about gender equality and that sort of thing, you know, what are we looking at? Are we looking at, like, you know, the job spaces being 50-50 split? Or what is it that gender equality is supposed to look like? So, you know, all women are really included.
Okay. So that's an interesting question. What does it look like? I think ultimately it's the space that allows for the nurturing of all. It's the space that allows for the young girl, the young woman who has a passion, who has a talent, who has a drive and a dream, that the space makes it possible to make this happen, both for the female and the male. And that's what it's all about. And it's not so much about the numbers in spaces, because there are many women who still love being homemakers. And that's beautiful. Once that is where your passion, your talent is, and once you are appreciated and recognized in your space and allowed to be your best self, that's gender equality.
And then how do we invest in our women so that they can be able to be themselves?
It has to be a holistic approach. You know, we women, we are complex but beautiful creatures. So we have the physical self, we have a spiritual self, we have an emotional self. It's important that we give credence and enough attention and resources to develop in all sides of us. There's the playful self. There's the health, the importance of things like our health. There's the importance of, again, like I talked about, protection from any form of abuse. First of all, having safe spaces. One of the things that's important for us women is that the sisterhood is critical, because we nourish each other. That's what we're supposed to do. Build up, not break down. Not eliminate the insecurities, and embrace and encourage. From a policy standpoint, again, financing of programs that will allow for training and development. That is key. Providing opportunities, and sometimes we don't even understand the opportunities that are available to us. And sometimes it's important for another source to basically show us these things and help us to point in directions that lead to our elevation and the elevation of our homes and our communities. All right? So it's a multi-pronged effort, and therefore it's hard to pinpoint one or two or three, because the dynamics of women empowerment, equality, and everything is really tremendous. And I have to say, in the process of all of this, we have to nurture our boys and our men.
Let's talk about that a little bit and how important that is in terms of us women having that space that we need to be able to achieve any bit of our goals and dreams.
Yes. And like I said, it's not competition, but it's complementary stuff. All right? And support. So, again, traditionally, we were the homemakers. But more and more, as our society has advanced, women have moved out of the home, but they're still in the home. But they're pursuing other career options, other financial options. And therefore, we cannot do it without the support, love, respect, and caring of our men. And so, oftentimes, there is the danger that our efforts and maybe sometimes our aggression seem to veer on the side of emasculating our men. And that's something that we really also have to be cognizant of, because men have issues just as we have as women. And in order for them to be that, again, still protector, provider, and every companion, all right, we have to ensure that their needs are met. So it's difficult to really separate the two, because one is so codependent, they're codependent on each other. And we would want to see the dynamism in this space where as we move the girls and the women forward, the boys are not left behind. We have to teach them sometimes how to love us. And we also have to understand a little better sometimes how to love our men and love our boys. And so the healing, the healing of the self and everything else, that really is central to our progress. Because first and foremost, we are people, men and women, but certainly together in this space and in this life.
Do you think we're doing a good job at trying to teach our young men about how to be men and also how to love women?
We are trying. We have challenges. Some of the challenges we have now are a little different because the world is so connected now via the information age. And the influences that young men and women face now, they're different. So, yes, we are, but the challenges are different. For example, Tobago, we now have a scenario where crime is an element in a way that we've never seen before. We kind of almost in shock right now, right? How do we wrap our arms around that whole issue of nurturing our boys and men and pointing them in positive, healthy ways when there are the negative influences that are so strong? So, but we have to come back to family basics. We have to come back to some of our traditional cultural values, right? And it's a community effort. It's a community effort.
And then coming back a little bit to the theme, right? What can you see from our traditional values and our culture what can we pick out of that can be used to help support this theme of investing in our women?
Okay. So, one of the first things that, just popped into my head is, back in the day, the susu was a big thing. And the susu was women controlled. But it was about building frugality, building entrepreneurship, building a sense of managing of finances and investing, right? So and even today it operates, but not as widespread as it used to. So I'm not saying, we have to go beyond that and go past that. But the tenets are the same.
The concepts.
The concepts are the same. It extends even to the whole notion of the cooperative, because the cooperative is really a reflection of the society as well, the community, all right? Pooling resources and having them available for the use of the wider community. And so these are some of the things that we talk about. Discipline, again, caring, respect. Those things, there's no substitute. for any of those things. And so as we move forward, the humanity in whatever our pursuits are, that's central.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, what can you say about the women who have influenced you?
They have it. I just want to thank them. And, you know, immediately I think of my mother. Blessed with, just like many of us in this space, strong, beautiful women. Women who have understood challenges, the benefit of hard work, discipline, investing in self, families. So my mother, my grandmother, right? I think of some of my teachers, and I have to take the opportunity to really call a few names and say thank you. Pinky Alum, you know, Agnes Marie, Verlene Bob Lewis. You know, we have some beautiful, powerful women. Pearl N2 Springer is one woman who has influenced my life in such a profound way. And I did not even know that we were so closely related until I was a big adult, you know? So, and then I have to talk about my sister friends. Simple, powerful. I have to talk about another Mommy Daphne Thomas. Simplicity, powerful, I mean, nurturing. And then there's one particular young lady in this space I have to say good morning to, Salisha Moses. I look at her and I'm motivated, you know? So I want to say the women in this space, Dr. Mark, so many of them, they have helped to shape us by touching us directly and sometimes at a distance.
Yes. And as you mentioned that, you know, this is a kind of full circle moment because Ms. Lois Leslie, you were my first head teacher in Bishops, so in first form. It's just before she made a little bit of a career change, but yeah. So it's just interesting, and I mean, and it's also wonderful when you look back on your life and you see who the people that have influenced you and the people that you have also influenced in ways that you would never know. So, you know, it's just very interesting this morning.
And I thank you for that, because you popped that at me this morning and I looked at you in surprise. So I appreciate, and the thing about it is that, you know, you say we stand on the shoulders of those who went before us.
Certainly.
And it is our responsibility whenever we have been nurtured to a place where we can in turn around and nurture those who are coming up. We have that responsibility. We have to be driven by that, because it's about the village and it's not just about one house in the village.
Certainly.
Right? And as we talk about moving in this space and stuff like that, for me right now, I am really gratified that I'm in a space where the whole notion of real property, because that's what we have in this space. I'm in a place where I can support persons who seek to become entrepreneurial by making use of their properties, or actually acquiring property for development, whether it's personal or business investments. And then, of course, now that we hear about the impending property tax coming along, just being able to provide information to assuage those persons who come nervously. Because, you know, again, it's about responsibility. So I'm really grateful.
Certainly, and I want to thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing a bit about your life, because we touched on a whole lot of things. We kind of just went all over, but that's okay, because that's just who you are, somebody who has been in so many parts of just our society and continue to influence and do wonderful things. So thank you so much for being on with us. And viewers, please don't go anywhere, because we've got a lot more coming up for you after the break.
A brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear.
Scrub Ties brings to you our organic fat dissolving shots. Yes, guys, our lemon butter shot breaks down stubborn fat, tightens any loose skin while increasing your metabolism. No side effects, no downtime. We also offer cavitation, cellulite treatment, but breast, hip dip fillers, weight loss, fertility IVs, and much more. Contact us on 495-6624 or follow us on Instagram at Sculptize Body Contouring.
Hello everyone, it's your boy Harry here from Authentic Car Clinic, located right here in Tobago at Tobago Local Road. You can WhatsApp us or call us at 366-4173.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your nice car get damaged bad, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. Never ever worry if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you.
Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, viewers. We are continuing to chat this morning with more influential women within our space as we celebrate International Women's Day and explore the theme of including women and being a little bit more inclusive with our women in our society. Now, for this segment, I am being joined by Miss Rachel Pierre-Kerr, who is no stranger to us, and of course, she is the artistic director at the Tobago Performing Arts Company. So, a special good morning and welcome to you, Rachel. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well. I'm very well. Very happy to be here. Good morning, Tobago.
And we're here, of course, to celebrate women. And I mean, I want to talk a bit about, because you are so embedded into our arts here in Tobago, every sphere of our arts here in Tobago, and just the influence of women in that.
I think when it comes to art is really about advancing particular kinds of agendas, social agendas, cultural agendas, developmental agendas. And because of the overall role that women play in society, because art is really meant to mirror society, the role that women play is beyond critical, is beyond significant, but I would go as far as to say it's foundational to the development of any space and the agenda of any space. I think right here in Tobago, and I'm pulling from some research that I've done in the past, women and girls make up such a large fraction of the creative ecosystem. And so because of that, more and more we're seeing that there is need to privilege and to center the voices of women and girls.
Certainly. And tell me about just that influence that women has on our art. And this is in general, whether it be in theater, in music, whatever it is.
I mean, I think it's no secret that women have the potential to influence change. Beyond their potential, women are actually the change agents. In and around the arts, from if you take a cursory glance of all sectors, you will find that women are the ones who drive the productivity. Women are the ones who inspire leadership with empathy. Women are the ones who are very focused on nurturing care and particular kinds of well-being. Not just amongst women or amongst their own communities, but for everyone in general. And that is essentially the influence that women have on not just arts practice, not just the creative ecosystem, but society as a whole.
And even though women are so much embedded into it, do you think that we are recognized enough or celebrated enough in the arts when compared to our male counterparts?
When it comes to celebration in the arts, I have two perspectives. On the one hand, I feel there has been approaches to celebrating women, but so much more can be done. But what I've also found is that women are taking up arms and celebrating themselves. Women are far more comfortable with saying, here I am, this is what I do. Would you like to be part of what I do? So now, particularly because of the levels of access, the spaces that have been created, for women, you find women are 10 times more vocal. And I'm talking from my own particular perspective. My grandmother shared stories with me about not being able to say certain things and not being able to do certain things. And she comes out of arts practice. But that's absolutely not the case now, because if I feel it, I will say it. If I feel strongly about it, I will share it. I think outside of women taking up arms and celebrating themselves, from both a policy standpoint, from a social development standpoint, so much more can be done to ensure that women are always included in the conversation. There is no dialogue nationally, locally, should happen without women's perspective, without women's intervention. Simply put, without women's side, without women's viewpoint, and particularly when we're looking at issues from a woman's vantage.
So you mentioned that, we should be included, women should be included a little bit more in certain conversations. So what are those conversations that you would like to see a bit more of the women's perspective involved in?
I think all conversations, and let me springboard from arts practice, from cultural development. Women's voices need to be center. From social development, from education standpoint, women's voices need to be centered. A lot of people will still tell you that women are amongst the most marginalized group, and that is the case by and large. And in a lot of instances, and so the way to combat some of those things, the way to combat marginalization, the way to combat lack of inclusion, the way to combat lack of access, is to everywhere there is a serious conversation happening, or any conversation for that matter, be it in health and wellness, be it in social protection, be it in agriculture, and creating pools of access for women, creating equal opportunity for women across every possible sector that I can think about, or we can think about. Women have to be central to the conversation.
Certainly. And then when you look at the arts sector in particular, how have we been treating our women? And I say this in perspective of, when, let's say we take calypso, our male calypsonians are the ones that seem to get a little bit more attention. They attract a bigger, more gigs and that sort of thing, to be able to make more money and stuff. What is it like? What's the space like in Tobago? And how included women are in terms of having that equity across the board?
I think, from my own vantage, women have created quite a lot of space for themselves. I am fortunate, and I'm going back on the Calypso reference, I'm fortunate to have been at the preliminary judging tent for the National Monarch. And quite a number of women were featured. Nicole Thomas, Gigi Fraser Washington, Gavi Sandy. So there is space for women's voices to be included in the conversation from a general arts practice perspective, particularly to reference Tipak. Last October Carnival, we spent some time studying the work of Calypso Rose, who is no stranger, not just to Tobago, but to the world. And we saw from Rose's perspective, from her life, from her walk, from her journey, that some of the issues that she faced, particularly being a woman, a Calypsonian, an Afro-Caribbean woman, existing in, like you say, a male-dominated space, that the onus was on her to create space for herself, and her ability to stand up for herself created ripple effects. That was really saying, I am just as good as all of the other men. My voice has value in the same way that the men's voice have value. So linking Rose's time to contemporary time, I think a lot more opportunities can be created to, on the one hand, understand some of the unique challenges that women face, and to bridge those gaps in a manner that is strategic, in a manner that is meaningful, and in a way that will really reach women at the point of their needs and then create space for them to feel comfortable and safe to stand in spaces that feel male-dominated.
Certainly. And as you mentioned, Tipak, of course, I mean, that's the center of where you are right now. But, you know, and Tipak, you all did such a wonderful job with that show that was dedicated to Rose a couple months ago. Was it a couple months ago?
It was October.
Sorry, time is flying by.
It is. It is.
So, but I mean, are we going to see a lot more of that coming out, where we take that those influential women within our society, and then we try to portray it in a way that it can inspire our young people, especially?
When it comes to particular stories from heroines or women of note in and around this space, that is a further developmental conversation, like next year. And yes, as a matter of fact, let me retract that. I want to share something, but I want to choose my words wisely. We're working on something that will be to the delight of quite a lot of Tobagonians, which essentially centers stories that we have experienced before. I'm trying to choose all of my words wisely. I don't want to give it away. That we've seen before. So we will get to experience a remake of a very important woman, a story from a very important woman in our space, as well as look at, through arts practice, dance, music, drama, film, what are some of the concerns, but also what are some of the leaps and bounds that women in our space have made to the betterment of all women and girls that exist in Tobago.
And then tell me about that passion, that inspiration that you guys are operating from in terms of being able to, you know, choose those women in our society and to find a best way to highlight their story.
Yeah. A lot of our philosophy is drawn from those who have gone before us. One person in particular is Dr. Elder and the work that he would have done in the folk and cultural arts. And he basically said, if we can spend the time to study culture, we can look microscopically at all of the things that exist in this space that are of value to us, that we need to continue to advance and to forward and to talk about. And so our passion is drawn from the fact that we're bridging the gaps. We're bridging gaps of knowledge. We're bridging the gaps of exposure and experience to ways of being that are very unique to us. We're bridging the gap by looking at the things that matter to us in a way that we can continue to connect to. And essentially, that helps to build our own cultural confidence as Tobagonians.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap up this morning. But before we go, I just want to give you a minute just to, you know, speak to our women, especially where culture and the arts are concerned, and, you know, just being able to forge our way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. Get up. Do it. If you feel strongly about it, if you're passionate about it, it begins with passion. There is absolutely nothing that you can't achieve, that you can't grab hold of and call yours. If you get up and you make the attempt and you try and you get it done, stand in your community. Stand on the things that you believe in. Speak up against the things that you do not believe in. Share your gifts. Share. What you all say? Share the life. Yes. Share your gifts. Share your gifts. There is no hurt. There is no pain in sharing. And sometimes sharing might be painful, but at the end of that sharing is real liberation. Your voice matters. Just do it. Just do it.
All right, great. Thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing your perspectives.
Sure.
And we're looking forward to seeing what TPAC is doing and which of our influential women they are going to be highlighting next. I'm excited to see, because if you missed Calypso Rose show October, you missed a treat. So they did such a wonderful job. But
Thank you.
that means that there are lots of good things to come, especially
Lots
for
of
women.
good things to come, yes.
All right, great. Well, viewers, we have a lot more coming up for you on GMT, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.
As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor.
No place like home, home, home.
Oh, I love Tobago, baby.
When we outside, it's an ocean of love. All that we align to the stars up above. Let we dance now, take a chance now with me.
And we go jump till morning. Look, the moon don't sleeping. Tell them we not leaving. Till the last drop of bacchanal is madness in the capital. So I feel like I run in tongue again. Jump and shake the ground again. Wave with all my friends and them. No place like home, home, home.
We go jump till the moon come down. It's we who the stars shine on. Play a mass and break away. Freedom in with DNA.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
Inner Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago. With over 25 years experience, offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, like I said, we are continuing to talk about women within our space because, of course, tomorrow is International Women's Day. So all week on GMT, on the Tobago Updates morning show, we are speaking with lots of influential women within our space. And now we are being joined for this segment. We are being joined by Miss Ira Matsuru, and she is the past president of the Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago. So good morning and welcome to you, Ira. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning, Candice. Doing fine, thank you.
Great to hear you. Great to see you.
Same here.
All right. So this morning we are speaking a little bit about, women in media and just looking at the space of media within our country and how much that has, grown and developed over the years. When you look back at this spectrum right now, what would you say? How would you rate the way that women have come through the ranks and forged themselves within the media space?
I think the women in media is a reflection of women in the society on the whole, right? So if you permit me, I'm just going to start off with some macro statistics. Still around the world, women own 1% of property and they form 50% of all of humanity. Only 1 in 4 women globally are part of the legislature. Women, 25% of women in the in developing countries still don't have access to education. And, millions of women worldwide still do unpaid, long hours of domestic labor and have unpaid work. Our health is much worse. So that although there's really a lot to celebrate, I am one of those people who I'm a little bit wary of having just one day for women, because I think every single day of life, women quietly do the work that allows societies to continue, such as raise children, look after communities, look after the elderly. So I wanted to talk about women in the media in that particular context. From the time when I started in the media, Candice, there were a lot of women, but a lot of us were in fairly junior positions. We still didn't have an idea of what our rights were in terms of maternity leave, in terms of leave, in terms of in the organization, decision-making areas in the organization. The boardrooms tended to be dominated by women, and it's very sad, but the statistic still says that currently women are, very regularly paid less than men, and it's for the same work, for the exact same work, but we're paid less. And I think people sometimes, especially the Trinidadian women, and I think women all around the world, there are women around the world who say, well, I'm not a feminist. And there are men who just see feminists as men haters. And it can't be further from the truth. I think all women are saying, we're not saying we want to be like men. We're not saying we want to be men. All we're saying is that we want to be treated as equal humans. And we are moving that way, but we're not quite yet there.
And then when you look at, just even, and you kind of touch on it a little bit, the pay disparity and so on, what can you tell us about the pay disparity that is even within our space?
Well, obviously we're not privy to people's actual wages and their contracts, but on the whole, it's very, very easy to see just where women fall in organizations. We tend to be great supportive staff. I've heard men all around the country saying, I'm going to hire a woman any day because, she can multitask. So yes, lots of secretaries, lots of assistants. We have that. But that said, I don't want to take away from the fact that in Trinidad and Tobago, we have one of the greatest levels of equality in terms of top jobs with women as well. And the UN has, these are UN statistics. Just take yourself, Candice, you're heading up the flagship program in your station. There are women in the boardrooms. There are women, in the Trinidad Guardian, in the Express. You have a woman editor. In the Newsday, there's a woman editor-in-chief. So yes, we are taking our place in the world increasingly, and I think there's something to watch out for. Is women are clearly outperforming boys, and this is something also that will affect all of society later on in the future. In every single educational institution. So, I mean, and what happens with that is that once women outstrip boys in education, that we get a backlash, there's more domestic violence, and there's more friction between the sexes. So I think I'm all for one saying that, it's not just about women. I think women's rights need to be human rights. If women do well, all humans do well. If men and boys are guided more towards education and higher education, as they're currently really dropping in numbers, which is alarming, I think then we will all do better. But I believe that, Women's Day is every day, Candice.
Certainly, but when we zero in into media a little bit, when media started off, it was driven by males. It was male hosts and male reporters, male journalists, and that sort of thing right across the board. And eventually, as things changed, women got into there. But do you think that the public perception has changed in the way that they value a male voice as opposed to a female voice on shows as reporters? Talk to me a little bit about that influence.
I think that was true in the past, but it's certainly changing. I mean, look at our past two presidents, women, right? And women, and we are actually quite a matriarchal society. There are lots of mothers and grandmothers who've brought up the men in this society, and I think men do respect women. So I think that men are actually absolutely fine with having women in positions of authority. And I would go as far as to say, from a lot of men that I've spoken to, they have actually more confidence in women, because they also see us as mothers, as people who look after communities, as people who look after the elderly and the young. So they see us. There's a greater sense of I think the only way I could say it, I think people have more confidence in the moral compass that is a woman, because we bring up children, we create civic people, we create civic societies because we have and bring up children, to a large degree.
Mm-hmm. And and in the media space as well, are you seeing that?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think that, we've been visiting our interim executive, of which you are a part, and I'm a trustee of MAT. Our interim president, Daley Knock, and I, and Robert Taylor and Philip Matheson, we've been visiting newsrooms around the country, and I could tell you they are dominated by women. Editors are, almost, I think, almost all, the majority of editors are women. So yes, I think it's a very positive space, and we're in a great space to influence society. But one thing I want to really make a point of very quickly here, Candice, I think that over time, because it was so hard to get the few spaces that maybe women were able to get, what women had been doing in the past, and maybe not, consciously, is that when you get to the top, you kick the ladder behind you. I think what we really need, I think this may have happened to you, it's happened to me. I think each woman in the workplace, whether you're 18 and 19 and just entering, or whether you're in your 40s and you've got a flourishing career, we all need to support one another. We can't kick the ladder down behind ourselves, so that, anytime we see a woman who is struggling, instead of saying, well, I struggle, let her struggle too. I think it really is our duty, not just to place the onus on what is still admittedly a male-dominated business space. It's our duty to look at women and say, let me give you a hand. Can I help you with that story? Can I help you with that job? Can I help you with that CV? Can I help you when you're down? How can I bring you up? Because I think that as women bring one another up, the whole tide will rise, and we will all rise towards equality. And when we are equal, the world is a better place.
And certainly, and I mean, just quickly before we go, when we talk about gender equality and so on, we're not just talking about the numbers, we're just talking about the opportunities.
Absolutely, Candice. And I think that actually in recent times, the global movements such as the Me Too movement, such as the Black Lives Matter movements, such as even social media, despite all the issues that we do have with it today, with trolling and so on, it's great because, in my time, when a male boss hit on you, it was just you and him, and you in a closed room, and you absolutely had no recourse. I mean, it's kind of happened. It's happened to me. Probably happened to a lot of women of my generation. But now they know that, all it takes is a photograph that's uploaded on social media saying this guy is, a slime ball, and, his career is finished. So I actually think it's really, really changed a lot. And I think the fact that we have movements behind us, it really, really helps. There's strength in numbers, there's strength in supporting one another. And we've seen that over the years, the outpouring in our society. About 40 to 50 women get killed every year in domestic violence incidences. And, it's heartbreaking, but it also points to the fact that men are not feeling empowered. When you don't feel empowered in terms of your job, you don't feel empowered in society, and you don't have a voice, what do? You kick and you hit the most vulnerable person around you to feel empowered, right? So I think we are seeing that. A lot of what's happening in people's private lives is playing out in the public domain. If a woman is murdered today, questions are asked on social media. What happened? Who was the spouse? And people are having conversations around all of that. So I think the best thing about being alive today in this kind of exploding social media, as opposed to when, I began, is that we can feel comfort that, strange women, strangers from around the world will rise to our defense. And that is what I really want to encourage all women to do, not just today, because like I said earlier, I don't like tokenism. I just feel that as half of humanity, why is it that we only own 1% of, of whatever there is to own in the world today? And as half of humanity, I think we all, every single day, have a duty, men and women, to bring one another up.
Certainly. Well, I want to thank you so much, Ira, for being on with us and for giving us your perspectives, especially as we continue to discuss women all week here at Tobago Update. So it was a pleasure, as usual. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Candice. Thank you.
All right, viewers. Well, that's how we're going to wrap our show this morning. So thank you for joining us. And I hope you have a safe and wonderful day. And we will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.
Start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive